Hi guys, hope you're all well. I just want to say hello and welcome to the month of March and all the magic that it's going to bring for us all. Just want to say before I conduct this month's tarot scope sort of monthly stop, start and continue, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that's come along and supported my Westbury sort of psychic and witches market fairs for the last 3 or 4 years. I did my last Mind, Body and Spirit fair yesterday in Westbury. That's my own ones, not the ones I'm still going to do other people's, just taking a break from my own. And it was a really beautiful day, beautiful energies, beautiful connections, beautiful people. So thank you so much for coming along to support that. If you were working the event, thank you so much. Your love and support means the absolute world. So it was definitely a day going out on a high, and it was just nice. But as one chapter finishes, another is ready to be sort of awoken. So I just want to talk to you guys about what March time is going to hold for us all through the power of the tarot, and then we'll end with a witch's rune reading, which will be like a blessing for March time. Now what's great with this time of year is, and already today, the sun's out, we're starting to get the light back into the world, you know. And very often when we start feeling, or when we start having natural sunlight in our world, it can just start to make us feel a lot more open, a lot more comfortable, just new energy wanting to come in. So I really look forward to welcoming March time and springtime with open arms, really. But let's just go into the energy of the cards and give some guidance and see what's coming up for everybody, what we need to be aware of, what can help us, and yeah, let's just roll with it. So the stop card then, Four of Pentacles. I don't know if you can see that there. So this card is all about stopping or not focusing on any monetary blocks, not panicking about financial endeavours. And for a lot of people, this year's been very tricky. It's not been the year people have perhaps wanted it to be, or it's just been very odd in ways. And the thing is, when we worry about something, we actually amplify it rather than, stunt its growth. So if you're somebody that has been a little bit fearful around the materialism, the monetary aspects of life, perhaps you're someone that's going through a little bit of financial difficulty, perhaps you're someone that's changing a set of circumstances around you. It could be a career, it could be a home, it could be stepping stones of change, welcoming up a family if you're sort of having a child, and it's all the financial sort of feelings that that's going to bring to you. But what's really important is to not fear finances, because money is an energy of its own. And so this is almost like holding space and honouring the essence of all your financial endeavours, okay? So she's holding on to this very sort of tightly. This card is also suggesting if you're someone that's quite giving with your money, quite giving with your time, make the monetary side of life work for you first. So it's great to help another person, but if there are people that are sponging off that, that's what you've almost got to stop and put boundaries in place. So some of you may have seen this morning that I put a little shout out up saying that with immediate effect, I'm going to now be taking £5 deposits for anyone that wants to pre-book a reading with myself at a psychic fair. And that's because the last two fairs I've done, I've had between them collectively about 6 people not turn up for readings. And being a full-time reader, I need to make my work for me. And yes, it's an absolute blessing and a gift to be able to read for people, but we live in a space and time where I still have to put food on the table, clothes on my back and a roof over my head. And if people just don't turn up to events because they have things going on but they can't be bothered to let you know, it's really sort of frustrating. And also there is the worry, has anything bad happened to that person, but a lot of people want to take very freely and they don't always want to give back, so this is about making sure monetary side of life is working for you. And no offence to anybody, but why should you feel you can take the service if you can't be bothered to touch base with the person and let them know what's happening? It's rude, it really is, So I don't want to sort of come across as being arsey about that, but it is frustrating. So this is about certainly sort of making money work for you and not sort of fearing, not worrying about things. So by putting that boundary in place for myself, yes, I may have lost some financial money from the past, but moving forward, by taking a deposit, that's going to hopefully ensure that that won't continue. So it's breaking the cycles, you know. So this is what we need to do. It's almost like saying in the nicest way, stop being mugged off. So if someone is taking advantage of you financially, you might not be able to change that set of circumstances, but you can put something else in place so the pattern doesn't repeat, okay? So hold on to your money, but make it work for you. Don't fear, you know, financial endeavours, because when we fear something, like I say, unintentionally, we're amplifying it out to the world to be more than it needs to be. Okay, what we need to do is hold space and say, I welcome the blessings, the abundance of monetary side of life that's coming to me at this time, if you're going through some money difficulties. Okay, now as we venture forward, we go into the start card. So we've got the Two of Swords. Now for a lot of people, January time has been quite hard, quite a lot. That's the sort of a pattern I'm hearing for a lot of people. This year is not the year that currently that people had expected it to be. And I really feel that this is a year of, you know, real authentic energy. And this is something that I'm talking to a lot of people about. It's really shaking everything up. So what we may have put up with in the past, what we may have suppressed and allowed to happen, this year through all different circumstances, that's actually got to stop. It's almost like the universe is saying it's no longer okay for these things to keep continuing and to break these cycles. So Two of Swords is mind over heart, okay? So this is literally wanting to tell people or say to people, it's time to honour, it's time to recognise, celebrate the essence, the roots of who you are. And what's interesting with the Two of Swords, this is like feeling torn between a person's head and a person's heart. And a lot of people often listen to the head because that's the practical place. And that's, you know, the safe zone, the comfort zone. But very often they don't feel fulfilled, they don't feel happy because they're adjusting their energy. You know, they're making do. They're not actually living their purpose or living their truth. And that's very scary, isn't it? To grab a sword, to cut any ties that bind us, and to change, you know, a big part of our story. But this is really what this card is saying. It's time to wake up. It's time to start doing what we want to do, and not worry about the ifs, hows, whys, and maybes. If something feels right to do in the heart, just do it. You know. So this is literally needing to hold space and honour the essence of what you're needing for yourself at this time. The water behind is completely still, is completely gentle. So this is indicating by listening and going with the heart, by being guided by matters of the heart, your world can be comfortable, your world can be as you want it to be. But it's giving yourself permission not only to go through the motions of it, but to actually accept you can change this part of your story. You can have something more than what you've been perhaps choosing to acknowledge up until this point. So March time really is going to be a power sort of energy. It's going to be a month of powerful changes. And it's really about honouring and holding space for the essence of who we are. And if something isn't serving our highest good, detaching from it, you know, making that change so that that cycle doesn't continue. So we've really got to start to honour the power of the Two of Swords. And, you know, we can stay in our job that we hate for another year, or an abusive relationship, or whatever the circumstances could be with a toxic situation or person, or we can choose to make a stand and say, do you know what? I'm worth more than this. And this is really what we've got to start doing, because this is what the energy of the universe wants for us at this time. It wants us to step up, to live our truth, and to cut away from the bullshit, to cut away from the garbage, the expectations of life, and to do what we need to do, okay? And this is the continue card, the Queen of Cups. So the Queen is wanting to come in and hold space for that place of authority, that place of power. So by making these kind of decisions with the stop and start card, we can keep our own cup of life, and this is our own emotional aspects of life, keep them balanced, keep seeing that cup of life full as opportunity, not seeing it as half empty. So this is literally continuing to sit on one's throne, rule one's own kingdom, not just putting on the crown and wearing it, but owning the crown, okay? Living a life that works and serves for us, harming nobody else around us. We don't need to harm people, but we should still be able to live our authentic truth, okay? And the Queen doesn't need to worry about anything being taken from her, because she's the ruler. She's the doorkeeper of her own destiny. She makes the rules and she lives by them. So this is about you guys taking ownership, taking accountability for what you want. So many times when I'm doing readings for people, they say, oh, I would love to do this, I would love to do that, but that will never happen to me. Why not? You've put an expectation upon yourself. That's garbage, it's bullshit. Be the Queen. Push past that. The Queen makes the rules. No one gets to dictate to her what she wants to do. So, and it doesn't have to be aggressive, boisterous, or any of these things. But if you're living, if you're serving for other people, are you living or are you surviving? That's what this card is saying. It wants you to live. It wants you to experience all the greatness, all the riches that life has to offer. But if you're feeling that you're in a pattern where it's, oh, same shit, different day, you're surviving. You ain't living at all. So stand up, recognise, be counted. Queen of Cups wants to make some changes that are going to work for you rather than against you, okay? And I'm just going to grab my Witch's Rune bag and we'll sort of just pick a rune and see what's coming up for us for a blessing for March. Ooh, okay, brilliant. So we've got the power of the moon coming in. Don't know if you can see that there. So the energy of the moon is cleansing. When the moon comes in, it wants to just cleanse anything negative, any stale energy around it, and it wants to bring back some balance and harmony. If you think of the moon, it's very much like a torch in times of darkness. It's a torch in the sky, but it's also, I see it as like a torch of darkness. What's great with the moon is it's bringing forward anything that needs to go. So very often when the moon shows, any people, circumstances or situations with hidden agenda, anything not serving our highest self, it's going to bring it to the surface so we can deal with it and expose it and tackle it head on, okay? So if you think of when we put a crystal out to charge underneath the moonlight, we're taking anything stagnant off of it, it's clearing the energies off. So it's the same for us. So through March time, for a lot of us guys, things are going to come to the surface that perhaps we had felt had been dealt with, or things that we've perhaps just thought, oh, I've done that. And it's going to bring up things to shift, okay? But it's going to really, really be able to hold space, clear them properly out. Remember, honouring the Queen, so by being that powerhouse of energy, this will become easier, and you'll be able to disconnect from anything not serving your highest good, keeping the great stuff, and feeling more balanced, more cleansed, so that this torch can act as a way forward through your times of darkness, and you can go back into the light, okay? So March for a lot of us is going to be definitely a time period of cleansing, but a time of actual inputs and action, you know, holding space, not making do. That's the biggest sort of message that I'm feeling I'm getting quite clearly for this time period for us, you know. Don't get mugged off. So it's important to do stuff that works for you. And it's never a crime to say, no, sorry, that's not going to work for me. Okay? So I hope this helps. I hope it makes sense. Great times to come. Authentic energy is key to success for this month. Okay? But wishing you all a magical March time. Looking forward to see loads of you soon. And yeah, keep being you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love and blessings. Bye for now.